Age appears to be best in four things: old authors to read, old wood to burn, old wine to drink, and old friends to trust. Sir Francis Bacon. Bonjour, my name is David DeVere. I'm a wine educator and traveler, and you're watching Savvy Nomad TV. This is the Eau de Vie edition, and this is day 22 of the Costco Around the World in 24 Wines box. I think I said it right that time. Here's the box. Here are all the holes, and 22 is up here. Okay, but the problem is that the wine has fallen down to 23, so I'm just going to go on the hope that the wine on top is the wine that 22 is supposed to be. Wow, this is interesting. Red Velvet, Syrah and Cabernet Sauvignon. Now, when this bottle first popped out of the box, I was a little bit taken aback because it said Velvet Rider, not Velvet Red, although maybe that's what they're going for, is a velvety red feel. Italy, Syrah, Cabernet Sauvignon. And I thought, oh, that's weird, a Syrah Cabernet Sauvignon blend from Italy. And then I thought, wait a minute, I think the Australians do that. And I rolled it around and read the label on the back, 70% Syrah, 30% Cabernet Sauvignon, and they talk about the Australian influence. But you're not going to see the word Syrah from a grape varietal on a label from Australia because the Australians don't call it Syrah, they call it Shiraz. And let's spend just a moment talking about a truth. I know the internet is full of myth truths and conspiracy theories, but maybe we can spread the truth a little bit. The truth is that Syrah from France and Shiraz from Australia are the same grape. Again, DNA has proven, the great arbitrator of all arguments about where things are from, DNA has proven that Syrah and Shiraz are the same grape. But here's what keeps getting propagated. Here's the myth. This is the myth part. You know, I should put up a warning sign that says, not true, don't believe. The old story is that Shiraz came from the Persian city of Shiraz. Now, Persia is the old word for what we commonly call Iran now, although Persian Empire used to own Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, most of the Middle East, and they were the great nemesis of the Greeks for a long time. Anyhow, there is a city called Shiraz, and the old myth is that this grape variety came from that city, and it came from there, went to Australia, propagated, and made these lovely, deep, dark, black, unctuous, slightly minty wines. I know, minty, I'm going to get to that in a second. Minty wines that became famous around the world as Shiraz. The truth is that Shiraz and Syrah are the same, except what hooked people in was that Syrahs from the Rhone in France, where it evolved, don't taste like the ones from Australia. And that concept, again, brings us all the way back to day number 1 and terroir. In Australia, some of those Shirazes, multiple Shirazes, the Shiraz from Australia tasted like eucalyptus, which added a little bit of mintiness to the wine. The Australians started adding Cabernet Sauvignon to it to kind of change it. They added a lot of oak influence. We don't know if there's any oak influence here, but that oak added vanilla and other types of spices, baking spices, and the Shiraz and Cabernet was absolutely top end 15% wine, is big and boozy and bold, a bit like Australia itself. And it went great with barbecue. Now, this is an Italian example. This is an Italian winemaker trying to copy the success of what they've been doing in Australia for many, many decades. Well, let's crack open this wine and see how they did. Before we get too far in the wine, I want to talk about how you use the wine journal just a little bit more, because here we do have the combination. So when I wrote in my note, I put 70% Syrah, 30% Cab. That's the blend, right? That's the blend. Unfortunately, the wine box doesn't give us a lot of info, but I want to turn back to this Condrieu that I had with Sarah the other day. Here's the thing, and in my other notes, I wrote about the wine, and I wrote that it's 100% Viognier and 9 months on the lees in French oak. That's aged in. And that all that information was on the back label. If you want to know what that means, it means they left the yeast cells and the wine together. They didn't pull the wine off the fermentation. They left the yeast in there. That's the lees that adds character to the wine. And aged in oak, new French oak, will impart a vanilla type characteristic. Now, in this wine, we don't know what it's aged in, and all we know is that 70% Syrah, 30% Cabernet Sauvignon. But that's where you put that information in the journal or on your tasting card if you're using either one of those. All right, let's crack open to this. Let's see if the Italians adequately copied the Australians. I would love to find a, Syrah Cab blend that's got a little bit of a eucalyptus aromas. Would I put that under tropical? I mean, parts of Australia are tropical, but parts were eucalyptus. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Nice. I have no idea what to expect here in this Italian version. But that's the fun, isn't it? All right, let's look at the color. It is not as dark as I would have thought. It's not dark red. It is somewhere between red and... No, it's red. I'm just going to circle red. All right. Now, aroma. Do we find eucalyptus? Oof, it's just a berry bomb. It's all these different Bing cherry, raspberry, strawberry, vanilla. There's a little bit of chocolate. It smells really good. It smells great. It's very expressive for a red wine. Okay, so working away around our chart. No citrus. Berries, yes. Orchard fruit, I could be convinced. We'll go noticeable. Tropical fruit. Unfortunately, I do not smell any eucalyptus. So, no. Flowers? Nope. Nope. Vegetable and herb? No. Roasted? Yeah. I'm going to put that. I'm putting the chocolate, the kind of sweet, bitter chocolate smells under roasted. I'll put that there. Earthy. Let's see. We had cedar box? Or smoke. That would be another one you could get from a Shiraz. Or even Band-Aid, which is sometimes talked about as leather. Not really. I will give this a slight earthiness and no faults. Okay, let's taste it. Okay, interesting. It's slightly sweet. Wow. The acidity, noticeable. Tannins, very low. Alcohol, kind of boozy. Kind of boozy. I said that like a Minnesotan. I'll go middle. Come back to preference. Body is big. Balance is noticeable because it is a little bit alcohol. And so the alcohol is that little bit of, it's like a little bit of breathiness almost in my mouth because it's, I can notice it. And so it makes me feel a little bit, I guess it's a little minty. Think about that for a second too. Complexity. I gotta taste this again. Now, you've been watching me taste things for 22 days. And if you notice, I take a big sip and I roll it around in my mouth and I exhale through my nose to force the aromas up into that little patch of sensory material that is the base of my brain. That is the smell. Complexity. There is some complexity here. I'll go noticeable. And the finish is, it's not bad. It's nice. I'll stick with noticeable. Okay, let's go to the score. Appearance 3, bouquet 4, taste. I kind of like the taste. I'm gonna go 5. Finish 2. Impression 2. And come back to preference. I will put, again, a noticeable preference. All right, I'm going to go do my math. Okay, here are my final scores for our Italian red blend. 16 points, that's 1 point into excellent. I think they did a good job here. They went after a style, which is interesting. This is an old world copying a new world wine. Of course, you can do that, but you don't generally find that in the liquor store. If you're looking for this style of wine, you need to shop in the Australian section for Shiraz. They range in price from as low as $10 to over $100 a bottle. I would encourage you to spend slightly more than 10, spend in the $20 to $30 range, and you'll find big, bold, barbecue-friendly wines. This one is certainly, no one in Australia would turn this away if you served it at a barbecue. Here is my flavor profile, and you can see that big spike in the red berries, and you can see there's that other spike at the top over there where I didn't know where to put chocolate, but I put it into roasted. The wine was not overly expressive in the bottom. Our Pinot Blanc from yesterday was better rounded out in the bottom, but everything was done well here. Nothing was done wrong. Nothing peaked out. Everything showed up. It's a well-made wine, and 16 points, I think, reflects that. Okay, that's all I've got for you today. If you have enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I'll be back tomorrow for our penultimate day, day 23. I hope your December is going well. Mine is. Until tomorrow, I say à tout à l'heure and cheers.
Hello. Velvet Rider. Syrah Cab. Okay. Deep red. Has a nice fruity plush smell. I may also smell a little bit of alcohol. Okay, let's give it a taste. Very fruity. A bit tannic, but not in a bad way. A tiny bit of alcohol burn, so I'm wondering if this is a fairly high alcohol wine. But it's not really giving me heartburn, it's just kind of making me feel warm. I think I'm going to enjoy this. Cheers.